Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 1 for this week, one day late. And I was always told not to be too honest, but I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you that yesterday was a very challenging day on a lot of fronts, and no pun intended. And I just reached the point where I figured, okay, I'll make sure I get this bonus weather video out tomorrow, which is what I'm doing now. And things are much better today, and so hopefully things are back to normal here. But we all have those kind of days, and I just had one of them yesterday, and I appreciate your patience and understanding. So let's go on ahead here, and this is going to be very, very short, and it's in a sense review of things that we talked about before. But this was the sun's path across the sky on the 20th of June when the sunrise came up, or sun came up at 5:58:39. Set at 8:35:09, and that gave us 14 hours, 36 minutes, and 30 seconds of daylight. That was the day of the summer solstice and the longest day of the year. And notice that the sun, this is actually north up here, so the sun actually rose in the north part of the sky, crossed over into the southern part of the sky for the midday hours, and then goes back and sets in the north part of the sky again on the western side, okay? So that's the path, and it gets up to about 77 degrees above the horizon. So this is directly overhead. This is 80 degrees above the horizon, so this is about 77, okay? Now, this is the path that the sun took across the sky on Sunday, the day of the autumnal equinox, when the sunrise was at 7:03:13, the sunset 7:11:26, and we have 12 hours, 8 minutes, and 13 seconds of daylight. And for those of you that haven't heard my explanation about that, you're sitting there going, wait a minute, Greg, equinox means equal night and implying equal day. And so why do we have 12 hours and 8 minutes and 13 seconds? Well, it's because we have an atmosphere, and the atmosphere bends the sun's rays toward our eyes before the sun is physically there. So we get actually about 8 minutes of bonus daylight because of that. And so the actual equinox, in terms of the sunrise and the sunset being the same except for AM and PM, occurs a few days after the equinox. So here you can see it rises due east, sets due west, and spends the entire day in the southern part of the sky. And this is the horizon, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, about 52 degrees above the horizon at its highest point. Okay, and then as we get toward December 21st, when we have the shortest day of the year, or the winter solstice, then the sun will come up at 7:21:32, set at 5:05:36, and that will give us 9 hours, 44 minutes, and 4 seconds of daylight. Now you'll notice here that the sun, this is the horizon, 10, 20, never gets higher than 30 degrees above the horizon. And one of the complicating factors with that, or negative factors if you will, is that the sun is pretty low in the sky all day long. And so if you're one of those people like me that gets frustrated when you're driving in the direction of the sun and it's coming right at your eyes and you're sitting there, the visor isn't good enough to block it out, and so you're sitting there driving like this. It never really gets high enough in the sky to completely avoid that. Whereas on the 20th of June, it's a problem early in the day and late in the day, but for most of the middle part of the day, you're absolutely fine. So a difference between it being 77 degrees above the horizon and 30 degrees above the horizon is pretty significant. Now, those are actual locations, okay? This is simply sort of a diagram that gives you a relative idea as to what things look like. So on June 20th, the pathway across the sky is going to be much, much longer than it is on the shortest day of the year, obviously. And then on September 22nd, the path length is not nearly as great. And by the winter solstice, it sort of comes up a little bit and then goes right back down. So it's quite a difference between December 21st and June 20th. And you all know that. This is just a graphical way of showing it. Okay, so that is bonus weather video number 1 for this week. Helene has finally been named. It is now officially a tropical storm. And there are still some hurricane models that are just exploding this thing and getting it to at least Category 4 status before it makes landfall somewhere in that Big Bend area of Florida. by the time we get to late Thursday or Thursday night. Now, it's going to have to intensify at an incredibly rapid clip to get to that point in a little more than 48 hours. So I don't know that that's realistic, but overall, conditions are quite favorable for this thing to take off. And I just did the the computations a few minutes ago that driving from Myrtle Beach to a town called Perry, which is in sort of that area just inland from the Big Bend of Florida, is less than 8 hours. And so I have something I need to get done tomorrow morning, but if I left Myrtle Beach at noon, even accounting for some stops, I could be down there by 9 or 10 o'clock at the latest and could get a good night's sleep and then go wherever I needed to go on Thursday. And the Hurricane Center brought up the point that since this is going to be a fast-moving storm, that the strong winds are going to extend much farther inland than they normally would. And so as a result, I'm not going to have to be on the coast. And if it's a Cat 4, they won't let me on the coast. But I wouldn't have to be right at the coast to experience some pretty horrific conditions. So this is something I have never experienced before. I still haven't made a final decision, but I am definitely thinking about it, and we'll keep you posted. I'm going to have to decide by tomorrow morning, obviously, because I can't wait too long because they might not even let me down there. So we shall see, but I'll keep you posted on my thinking pattern on all that. All right, folks, that's it for now. You have a great rest of your Tuesday. Of course, the daily updates, both version 1 and version 2, will be coming up later this afternoon. You all take care. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.